But I was invited tonight to speak about the real meaning of Christmas. Now, I got a little nervous when I heard that because this is a church gathering, so I figured they'd want me to be religious. And, you know, but then I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll just be me and I'll tell you what I think. And that's pretty easy. I've known about the real meaning of Christmas since I was a little kid. And, you know, there's snowmen, and there's music, and there's lights and decorations and cards and traditions and food and all that stuff, but you and I both know the real meaning of Christmas is about gifts. Gifts. I have a list here about gifts. There's the gifts you like, and there's the gifts you don't like. There's expensive gifts, and clever gifts, and gag gifts, and big gifts, and tiny gifts. You know that good things come in small packages. I think that's a crock. There's surprises. There's the gifts that you knew about, but you didn't tell anybody you did. There's wrapped ones, and ones that aren't wrapped. I always love that. They go, oh, sorry, I didn't have time to wrap this. December 25th caught you by surprise. There's gifts in your stocking. There's heirloom gifts, you know, those very hand-me-down important things. There's gifts that make you cry, gifts that make you laugh, gifts that make you stutter, you know, like, oh, it's interesting. Gifts from the heart, gifts of obligation. Did you ever have to buy a gift for somebody you didn't like? I find when I do that, I also buy a gift I don't like. Kind of like, oh, here's some plastic lavender reindeer placemats. I think she'll like it. There's gifts that you put together. There's the ones that fall apart right on Christmas Day. Food gifts, clothing gifts, jewelry gifts. Do you hear that, man? Keepsake gifts, practical gifts, household gifts. Now there's a favorite of mine. Oh, honey, a new chopper. Thank you so much. Let's try it out. Put your head in here. There's musical gifts, electronic gifts. Everybody gets those. Artistic, homemade kind of gifts. The gifts that will return. The gifts that will re-gift. Gifts that we buy for ourselves. Anybody ever guilty of doing that? As long as I'm shopping. How about the gift you hide in the hall closet and you can't find it until next May? And let's not forget fruitcake. Now I saw some of you out there secretly taking notes. These are not free tips. You can make your own thinking list, okay? Christmas list, though. Now there is an art. Last year, I made a spreadsheet on Excel, and this is no lie. I really did this. On one page, I had the list of the names of all the people on my list, and other things you buy at Christmas, you know, the food for the holiday meal, and cards and stamps and decorations and whatever, and a place to put each thing I bought for them and how much it cost, and it kept totaling at the end of the row. And then the second page of this Excel spreadsheet carried the totals from that first page over, and I had how much I had budgeted for Christmas, and it subtracted them as we went along from the budget, so that you had a continuing declining balance of what you had left to spend. And that worked pretty well. But this year I've come up with a third page for it that I think is really going to tie the thing up. And how it goes is, if, as I'm spending over here on page 1, if it spends more than the budget I have on page 2. That's when page 3 kicks in, and it basically will take other people's money and it'll bail me out. I think it'll work. Do your kids make lists for you? Mine do. I remember my youngest daughter, when she was 14, gave me a 3-page typed list. And one of the items on the list, and I quote, was, all of the items in the all of the clothes in the J. Crew catalog. That was one item. Now my kids are older, they're smarter. They make lists on the computer and they email them to me with links so that I can just click and buy. There's no way that they're afraid that I might buy them something that's almost like what they want. I made lists as a kid, and of course mine weren't as selfish and materialistic as kids nowadays. We only asked for what was affordable and modest. Like every year I wanted my own horse. My mom would stop buying us anything right after school started and we were kind of set in our school clothes. And you were in real trouble. Like, you'd say, Mom, I lost one of my gloves. And she'd say, well, Christmas is coming. It was a long fall if you lost a shoe. And we would get surprises and toys. I never got a purse. But we'd also get things we really needed, like underwear that fit, and socks without holes, and more PJs, and winter coats and boots, you know, all that stuff. The truth is, my mom knew what we needed, and she made sure that we had it. My husband and I support a couple of kids in third world countries, and with a monthly donation, and every year they send out a catalog of things that you can buy that will really help the people in the community. So things like a goat, or 2 chickens, seed for a garden. My personal favorite is the big ticket item, the water buffalo. This year I thought I might put a water buffalo on my Christmas list just to see if anybody's even reading it. But the truth is, need makes gifts more precious. There's a lot of need in those third world countries, and they really do appreciate it. If you don't think so, try giving your kids 2 chickens this Christmas and see how that goes. My mom's 89 now, and buying for her is really a challenge. All year she's giving stuff away, trying to get rid of it, and we're trying to figure out stuff that she doesn't have yet. And she says, I don't need anything. And we sit and try to think of what it is that she needs that she doesn't know she needs. Sometimes people don't know what they need, right? And for me, it's kind of hard to come up with something I'm comfortable asking for. If I ask for anything too expensive, I feel kind of like a hog, you know. If I ask for anything too generic, it's very risky. You never know what you're going to get. And if I'm too specific, like my kids, and I email it with links, then I look kind of picky and self-serving. So I got thinking about Christmas this year, and you know, Christmas this year is a little different for us. It might be a little different for you too. Things have kind of changed since last year. And I thought if I really put on my Christmas list what I want, my family would have a hard time buying it for me, even though there's only 5 things on my list. So I brought my list, I wanted to share it with you, of 5 things I would really like. Now the first one is I want to never die. I mean, after all, this is me. I like me. I want to be me. I don't want me to go away, so I want to just keep living. And then I can continue to experience things, and I can love, and I can laugh, and I can eat, and I can sing, and I can go to my church and pray and be with the people I love. I want life to go on forever. I just love it, and I don't want to ever die. So, however, I do want the deluxe accessory kit that goes with that gift, which is never being old, not having to cry or feel pain, or, you know, all of the good and none of the bad of living. That's all. So that's number 1 on my Christmas list. Number 2 is I would like to have an amazing mind. I'd like to always be able to choose right from wrong and have brilliant revelations on the spot for how to handle situations when I need them. You know, I'm good at the next day saying what I should have done. I'd like instant recall of every wise thing that I've ever been taught or learned or read about or heard. Kind of like that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I want a lifeline that I can call on at any time to ask when I'm not sure. So that's number 2. I'd like an amazing mind. The third thing on my list is I would like definitive answers to life's dilemmas. I don't want options. I don't like gray areas. I want to know what is the answer. Is it yes or is it no? I'm kind of fed up with whatever, or, you know, well, that may be right for you, but it's not right for me. Things either are or they aren't. Like living, you're either dead or you're alive. There's really no gray there. I just want the truth.